Lawmakers could prevent the Republican majority from passing the restrictions by denying them a quorum. ABC Deputy Political Director Avery Harper.
And the Texas Democrats who are in D.C. say the reason for them being in the nation's capital is to lobby for support of federal election reform, things like the For the People Act, the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. But the fact is that it's Republicans in D.C. who are holding it up. And so it's really just delaying the inevitable. This is not going to keep voting legislation from passing in Texas.
Massive protests in Cuba as conditions have reached a dangerous stage there. COVID cases climbing, food and medicine in short supply. They're getting support from family and friends in Miami. ABC's Victor Oquendo was there.
A lot of support for those demonstrators here in Little Havana. There was a good chance, though, that the Cuban people on the island have not received President Biden's message of support. Our team in Cuba tells us that Wi-Fi and data have been spotty ever since the demonstration started. And one cybersecurity company confirms that there have been disruptions on social media platforms.
A second round of record heat combined with extreme drought fueling wildfires across 10 western states. Thousands have been forced to evacuate their homes ahead of the flames.
In the West, the extreme heat and record drought supercharging 58 major fires across the region. In southern Oregon, the bootleg fire has been threatening a major power grid that connects Oregon and California. The fire doubling in size every day for 3 days.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert continued progress in the recovery at the collapsed Surfside, Florida condo. 94 people have now been confirmed dead, 22 still missing. You're listening to ABC News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
As a lot of fast food places across the country struggle to hire workers, one in Nebraska needs a lot more. ABC's Christine Sloan says a group of Burger King workers all walking out for good.
Workers at a Burger King in Nebraska quit to protest long hours, lack of staffing, and poor working conditions. They say the kitchen topped 90 degrees with no AC. The general manager was even reportedly hospitalized for dehydration. Burger King not responding to our request for comment. It's not just fast food. Americans across the economy are quitting their jobs in record numbers. A record 4 million workers in April alone.
Several companies are offering more perks to get workers in. McDonald's franchise owners offering child care services and tuition help. Deadly hotel collapse in eastern China. Rescue teams still looking for 9 people missing in the rubble. At least 8 people are dead. No swimmers at miles of beaches in L.A. after 17 million gallons of sewage from the city's biggest water treatment plant spilled into Santa Monica Bay. Officials blaming a mechanical failure. And getting a morning cup of coffee is getting more expensive over the last few months. Prices for coffee beans up nearly 20%. Several factors are at work: a poor harvest in Brazil due to lack of rainfall, transportation problems in Colombia and Vietnam, and an increase in demand for coffee during the pandemic. This is ABC News.
If the pandemic's taught us anything, it's that the easiest way for germs to get into your body is the nose. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs that cause congestion, colds, and flu, so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. Experience Navage at zero risk. Go to Navage.com, buy Navage, and use it for a month. If you're not delighted, return it for a full refund. There's nothing to lose and a lifetime of better breathing to gain. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the best.
The heat and humidity is on once again today. We are going to see temperatures climb into the lower 90s, and not everyone will see rain because of a high pressure system off to the east of us. Rain chances will be limited, but some of us could still see a few isolated storms as we head into the afternoon. Once we head into tonight, we'll fall into the lower 70s. Again, highs will be in the lower 90s. Tomorrow, much of the same possible. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
I don't know how many of you were awakened by that storm in the middle of the night last night, but it was a doozy. It came up a heavy storm, a lot of rain heavy, about a little bit of lightning and thunder, but boy, it was a deluge of rain. But maybe we'll get a little more of that tonight. I don't know. It's in the forecast. Chance of precipitation only about 30% tonight, 50-50 today. Then on Wednesday, 50-50. Thursday looks like about a 30% chance. And then by Saturday, there's no rain in the forecast at all. So Saturday looks pretty good for us. We are at 68 degrees currently here at WCAB in Rutherford. Now I have these death announcements this morning. Linda Hawkins Emery, age 76, died Sunday, July the 11th at Oak Grove Health Care, where she was a resident. The family will have a private memorial service in the Pageant and King Chapel. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of those arrangements for Linda Hawkins Emery. Robert John Thomas, age 70, of Rutherfordton, died Monday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The Mass of Christian burial will be at 11 o'clock on Saturday, July 31st at the Immaculate Conception Roman Catholic Church. And Pageant and King Mortuary serving the family of Robert John Thomas. Don Wisnut, age 74, of Mooresboro, passed away Sunday, July the 11th at Adrium Health Cleveland in Shelby. A celebration of life will take place at a later date, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Don Wisnut of Mooresboro. Catherine Jeanette Thompson Brock, age 77, of Cove Road, passed away Saturday, June 26th at her home. A celebration of life will be held from 4 until 6 Saturday, July 17th at Crow's Mortuary in Rutherfordton. Crow's Mortuary serving the family of Catherine Jeanette Thompson Brock. Gary Warren Webster, a longtime resident of Atlanta, Georgia, passed away on July 7th in Forest City. A celebration of life service will be held at Buford Presbyterian Church in Sugar Hill, Georgia, Saturday, July 24th at 2 o'clock. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of those arrangements for Gary Warren Webster. Ginger Paget Guy, age 58, of Forest City, died Wednesday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. A celebration to celebrate her life will be Saturday, July 24th at 11 o'clock in the First Baptist Church of Forest City. Family will receive friends following the service at the church. Burial will be private for the family at Cool Springs Cemetery. Again, that's Ginger Paget Guy of Forest City. Alan Flip Scott Keeter, age 62, of Forest City, passed away at his residence on Saturday, July 10th. A memorial service to honor Alan's life will be held 7 o'clock Friday, July 16th at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Service is serving the family of Alan Flip Scott Keeter. Lisa Coffey Rome, age 55, of Spindale, died Friday, July 8th at her home. A memorial service will be held at 5 o'clock Saturday, July 17th at the Pageant and King Mortuary Chapel. The family will receive friends an hour prior to the service at the Pageant and King Mortuary. Pageant and King is in charge of the arrangements for Lisa Coffey Rome. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information of these and others, as they become available to us, you can hear those this morning at 11:35, and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on the most information for the Foothills, WCAB Rutherfordton.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. They are a 15-year industry leader who have seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
On this Tuesday, tonight is the All-Star Baseball game in Denver. You may remember it was moved there from Atlanta, Georgia, because the very woke Major League Baseball executives object to the new Georgia voting law. Anyway, police report a hotel chambermaid found a cache of guns in a facility near Coors Field where the game will be held. Heavy weapons, 1,000 rounds of ammo. 3 people have been arrested. The cops in Colorado say it's probably a drug gang. But remember Las Vegas and that big shooting at a country music festival? If you find heavy weapons and 1,000 rounds of ammo near an exposition, that's scary. So I hope this lady gets a big reward from the hotel and tremendous credit from the public. We all are living in a very dangerous time. We all have to help stop the violence. If you see something, you have got to call 911 and tell the cops, even if it's marginal. Violence is taking an enormous toll on America, and we all have an obligation to stop it. This chambermaid in Denver did that. Now this. This year marks 20 years since September 11, 2001, and the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been supporting America's heroes ever since that terrible day. When a first responder or military service member does not return home, Tunnel to Towers pays off the mortgage to lift the financial burden and bring their families some stability. Donate just $11 a month to make a difference at T2T.org. That's T2T.org. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Good morning. Good morning.
The music's on us. WCAB.
If ever there was a man whose name made him famous, it was Johnny Ringo. Movies and songs have centered on Johnny Ringo, a great gunfighter. Johnny Ringo was well educated, possibly knew Greek and Latin. For sure he was an alcoholic and probably a manic depressive. As far as a gunfighter, there is evidence he only shot one man, a drunk that he had pistol whipped first. Although he wasn't involved in the OK Corral shootout, he was involved in the activities that led up to it and the shooting of Virgil and Morgan Earp afterwards. But the real controversy about Johnny Ringo started on July 14, 1882. That was when he was found sitting against an oak tree dead. His death was caused by one shot in the head from a .45. Johnny's pistol was in his hand with one cartridge fired. The coroner's jury returned a verdict of suicide. Today, some 130 years later, hours are spent discussing just what happened to Johnny Ringo. Even a book comprising of over 460 pages has been written about his death. Even though the official cause of death was suicide, there is evidence that it was at the hands of others. Some believe Wyatt Earp returned from Colorado and shot him. Others believe it was Doc Holliday. Another group says it was both Doc and Wyatt. Possibly it was Ringo's friend, Buckskin Frank Leslie. And don't forget a man named Johnny Behind the Deuce. One newspaper account said Ringo was scalped. One thing can be said about Johnny Ringo. He must have had an irritating personality to anger all those people who supposedly wanted to kill him. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
For a rootin' tootin' great meal, let Jesse James prepare your next lunch. He's got a menu chock full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, and onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesdays and Sundays. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. Call 447-4644. And don't forget the 99-cent hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions on Mondays only.
Yummy, yummy. 7:15. Now let's go to the phones and find out what's been going on overnight, the past 24 hours or so. And Sheriff Chris Francis is on the phone right now to give us that update. Sheriff, good morning. How you doing?
I am doing well. I hope you are.
I am indeed. Tell us what's been going on.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 155 calls for service. Within 12 arrests processed at county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 190. Those arrested: Dupree McDowell, 47-year-old male of Rutherford, was charged with 2 counts of failure to comply, failure to appear, and received a $4,000 cash bond. Myra Taylor Locker, 25-year-old female of Mooresboro, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear in possession of meth and drug paraphernalia, and received a $5,750 secure bond. Nicholas Jordan Burdett, 25-year-old male of Rutherford, was charged with possession of firearm by felon and received a $15,000 secure bond. Whitney Taylor McSwain, 31-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with possession of Schedule II narcotics, received a $5,000 secure bond. Davis Lee Vickers, 30-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to comply and resist threat delay, received a $525 secure bond. William Leon Boykins, 51-year-old male of Far City, charged on 3 true bills, received a $10,000 unsecured bond. Michael Andrew McDaniel, 34-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with uttering a counterfeit bill, received a $10,000 secured bond. William Hunter Husky, 27-year-old male of Far City, was charged with failure to appear, received a $10,000 secured bond. Among our incidents, we had a juvenile offense on Academy Street in Mooresboro. A 13-year-old had pushed his mother and then also communicated threats. Department of Juvenile Justice was contacted and will be seeking a petition for that incident. We had a larceny there on Willowtop Lane in Lake Lure. It was of a chosen action, which is a written check. Don't believe it was actually taken from that gated community, but somewhere along the lines, a check for $120 was taken and forged and uttered by someone other than the intended person it was sent to. We had a break-in and larceny of a storage unit on Oakland Road in Forest City. There was a 70-inch smart TV valued at $1,433, a stereo system valued at $300, a buddy heater valued at $50, as well as NASCAR collectibles and some collectible knives and tins valued at $300. We had the counterfeit money $100 bill passed on Old Ballpark Road. This is where Michael Andrew McDaniel, after investigation, was taken into custody. And we had a larceny of a catalytic converter on Old US 74 in Boston, and that was Concord Baptist Church. Last time the church van was used was July 4th, and the value to replace that is $716, including labor. Jim, that's what we had to report today.
All right, Sheriff, I do appreciate you telling us the things that's going on around the county and what's being done about it. Thank you for your good work, and you have a safe day out there.
Thank you, sir, and take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 19 minutes after 7, terrific Tuesday morning report continues now. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. Andrew's scheduled to be in the Blue Room this morning a little after 8 o'clock this morning to talk more about how to handle your finances in a positive way. And here's Emily now with the report from 911 Communications. Emily, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Tell us what's kind of phone calls you've gotten over there.
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and 911 Communications has processed 482 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of EMS and Rescue had 54 for emergency medical services, 31 for rescue. Law enforcement, there was 155 for the Sheriff's Office, 64 for Forest City, 9 for Lake Lore, 61 for Rutherfordton, 63 for Spindale. Fire calls, Bills Creek responded to a motor vehicle collision, Forest City responded to a motor vehicle collision, Hudlow had a motor vehicle collision and power line fire, and Spindale had a motor vehicle collision, and that's all I have.
Thank you much. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
SDO report now given to us by Ruby Taylor over in Danieltown. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today, Ruby?
Well, the fire department didn't have any calls, and I think we got a little rain in the night.
Yes.
And it looks good, everything does. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Thomas Wilkins. And somebody named Jim Bishop's having birthday today.
Oh, I don't know that guy.
And I'm not going to ask him how old he is, but he's getting pretty old, too.
I'm just thankful for another one.
That's right. And I wish both of you a very happy day.
Thank you.
And the signs are in the thighs today and go into the knees tomorrow. And, Jim, that's all I got.
I appreciate it, Ruby. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
22 after the hour, 7. Imagine being surrounded by comfort. At Immaculate Heating and Air Conditioning, they offer ultimate home comfort by Coleman. They will install a Coleman high-efficiency heating and cooling system and handle any service and maintenance, all for one low monthly payment with zero out-of-pocket costs for 10 years. That's right, 10 years with no service or repair fees, no maintenance fees, no unexpected cost at all. Ultimate home comfort. It's more comfort all around. Contact Nathan Blackburn at 828-755-5788. That's 755-5788, or visit ImmaculateHeatingandAir.com. All right, now we're checking in up at the Fairfield Mountains Fire District, and Gary Wilson is there this morning. Gary, how you doing today?
Doing good, Jim. How you doing?
Doing well. Hope you're already off to a good start.
Yeah, better than yesterday morning. Got called out yesterday morning about 5:30, so I missed the report yesterday.
Oh,
my. We had one of those things where one thing led to another. It was a chain of events. It had a tree hit a power line, and then a tree hit a propane tank, and it was leaking, and power lines were down, and wasn't too good a situation there for a while.
Wow. And that's around the Fairfield Mountains area?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And had to get the power company out to kill the power. Then the gas company had to go in and take care of the gas tank, but everything turned out good. No fires or anything from it, and people stayed in their house. And best place for them at the time. Just sit up there for about 4 hours with that, and then had one other call later on that afternoon, but it didn't amount to anything. It was a report of a stranded motorist on the lake, but they were on the other end of the lake, so they got taken care of down there. That was an interesting day. And the day before that, we had some pretty good thunder boomers come through. We got a quarter-inch of rain out of that on Sunday, so that wet the ground a little bit. And we're cloudy and overcast this morning, and no rain yet, but sitting on about 68 degrees and kind of humid out there.
Yeah.
Been that way for the last few days.
Did you get any rain last night?
Nope, didn't have anything last night.
Well, we did. We had a heavy rain shower, I guess around 11:30 maybe, 12 o'clock.
Really?
Yeah. I think it sounded like it was raining the hardest I've ever heard rain. I don't know that, but it sounded that way anyway.
It's kind of the way it done Sunday up there. We had a couple of hard showers come through. That it didn't last long, but when it rained, it poured for a few minutes.
We had some lightning and thunder, all that.
Yep, we had all that Sunday. But right now, we're clear and not clear, but clear to go as far as calls go this morning. Everything been quiet this morning, so hopefully it'll stay that way today.
Good. I hope so, Gary. I appreciate you. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, you have a good one.
All right, bye-bye. 25 after the hour. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Come take advantage of the springtime sales event and get the automobile you've been wanting. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Now, Bob Hodges next. He's over the Hudlow Fire District with our morning report. Bob, how you doing this morning?
We're doing just fine on this Tuesday morning. And how's the birthday boy doing this morning?
Oh, I feel fine. Just thankful I can have another one.
You feel any older?
No, I think I'm going backwards, downhill.
Oh, well, that's good then. You just keep feeling that way.
That's right. Matter of fact, I think I'll go to the gym today just to prove to myself I can still do it.
Well, you can go, yeah. I don't know how much you can do, but you can watch everybody else.
That might be what it'll be.
Yeah, you watch everybody else and see if that makes you feel better there. Yeah. Well, Jim, things are going along pretty good up here this morning. With the fire department, we've answered a vehicle accident call. Then we answered a power line fire and a couple of medical calls. And that's about it with the fire department. And we got a little thunder shower during the night and a little damp out here this morning. But we needed the rain and it cooled things off, so that's good. And so maybe we'll have a little cooler day today. And
maybe those maters will get right up here pretty soon after that rain.
Yeah, we're getting a few. They're not too big, but we're getting a few there. So they'll begin to get ripe. Getting a lot of squash and cucumbers, though. So, yeah, getting plenty of them. So this rain's been helping out a lot with that, so that's good. These little thunder showers helps a lot.
It helps a lot, especially when it comes overnight like that. When it's cool it down a little bit.
Well, that's true there. Well, Jim, you take care, and you have a good birthday today, and I'll talk to you in the morning.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. I will do that, and I'll see you then.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And it's 27 minutes after the hour 7, 68 degrees here in Rutherford, according to Peter the meter reader, 68 degrees.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Now we're going over to the Cherry Mountain Fire District. That's where we'll find Sue Price this morning to get a report from what's happening in that community. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing okay.
You improving along the way?
Yeah, getting better.
Good.
Tornus is slowly getting out, so I'll be glad when it's all gone.
I know you will.
Yeah, it was a hard fall, so it takes a while to get over it.
You didn't break anything, though, right?
No, I didn't break anything. Thank goodness.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Let me see. I didn't have any calls from the fire department. Don't have any birthdays on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I've got Joey Ekstrom and Jim Bishop. Happy birthday, Jim.
Thank you.
Hope you have a good one.
Thank you.
And let's see. Fairview has Kathy Chapman. And First Broad doesn't have anything on theirs for today, so not too many celebrating, but we have anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary. We have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And we got some rain last night. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we sure were needing it. But anyway, yeah, we got pretty good rain.
Yeah,
I guess that's all I got this morning, Jim. It's just quiet and calm over this way, looking for a good day, and I hope you will have one.
Thank you, and you keep improving, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. That's Sue Price reporting in from Cherry Mountain. Started yesterday a new program here on WCAB at 9:30, and then again at 11:50. Mitch Graff will give you techniques on how to get a competitive edge in business and in life. Join Mitch as he discusses a wide variety of subjects such as lifestyle design, time management, branding, sales, marketing, and pricing, and how not to fall down the rabbit hole spending too much time on social media. Most importantly, Mitch will help you in setting time aside for business, your coworkers, and especially for yourself and your family. He even gives tips on how to work playtime into your workday. You know the old saying, all work and no play? Well, join us for Business Edge Minute at 11:30 and 11:50, Monday through Friday, right here on 100.9 FM, 590 AM.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Trying to reach Drop-In Family Mart over in Boston. You're busy again this morning. We'll move on and take other calls and talk to you about what a great family business that is. They really know how to take care of customers. I appreciate that about them. Not every company can say that, but they do. They'll help you with your groceries. If you need somebody to help them out, bring them out to the car for you, they can do that for you. If you call it in, they'll collect them for you. It's a great, great service. Plus, they got a great breakfast and lunch they'll prepare for you. Jessica's always cooking a good breakfast over, a lot of bacon, a lot of sausage, a lot of eggs, and a lot of ham, a lot of liver mush, all those things you want for breakfast can be yours with a stop at the Drop-In Family Mart there in Boston, across from the post office. Fantastic business. Family run, locally owned. It's 7:33, and we're going now up to Shingle Hollow and talk with Tina White about what's happening in that part of our county. A little, I guess it'd be north of us here. Good morning, Shingle Hollow.
Good morning and happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
It's a good day to have a birthday.
Yeah, anytime I can have one, I'm happy.
Right. Well, in Shingle Hollow this morning, it's 69 degrees. There's an overcast. We did not get the big storm, but I saw some lightning when I was up last night late. In the distance, there was some lightning, but just a little bit of rain was all we got this morning during the night. There's no other birthdays on our calendars on Piney Knob or Pleasant Grove, so Jim, we're just celebrating for you today.
Yeah, stand alone.
And the fire departments were all quiet, so we're thankful for that. And announcements, Mountain Creek Baptist Church is having a Sunday, July 24th. Trying to find my little paper. Summer block party from 6 to 8 p.m., live music, hot dogs, magic show, and fun for the entire family. Piney Knob Baptist Church invites you out for Vacation Bible School. It is Destination Dig, Monday, July 26th through Friday, July 30th. There will be a meal that starts at 6 p.m. And then they're also inviting people out for revival. Sunday, August 1st through Wednesday, August 4th. Speaker will be Brother Alan Laws. Sunday it'll be at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. all other nights. So come on out and enjoy revival. Let's get revived. And that's all I've got.
All righty. All right. Well, I appreciate you. Excuse me. That's got the strangle on my coffee there. We appreciate you sharing that information with us. You keep it together up there, and we will check back in with you in the morning about the same time.
Okay. Have a great day, and everybody stay safe.
Thanks, Tina. Bye-bye.
Bye.
7:35. Everybody's on the All-Star break. Braves are not playing until Friday evening against Tampa Bay. But we also have a Forest City Owls Spartanburgers game on the radio at that time as well. So we'll carry the Owls Friday night while they're on the road. Join us for that.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
All right, Union Mills, here we come, ready or not. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning. Just come right on in. Happy birthday to you. May the Lord richly bless you. Happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you. You're the first one that sung to me today.
Oh, okay. And let's see, I've got 62 degrees on the front porch, and my birthday's my grandson Christopher Friday, and the one and only Bishop Jim Bishop. How's that?
I like that. And your grandson and I celebrate birthdays on the same day, huh?
Yeah. Let's see, he's 36 today, I think. He was born in 85. I think he's 36.
Does he live with you?
No, he's married and got 3 children. Lives in down off of 221 South, somewhere down there. I don't know what it's got. Out of Ruffin and down the little piece.
Oh yeah. So you have 3 great-grandchildren.
Yeah, I have 3 great-grandchildren. Yeah, I have 5 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. You just got 1 great-grandchild, hey?
Brand new baby born about 2 weeks ago.
I was gonna say you just about made it on your birthday.
He sure did. I was hoping he would come on my birthday, but
yeah.
And my grandson hoped he would come on July 4th, so he came a little bit sooner than that.
Yeah. He's got his own.
That's right.
His own day. That's right.
He's a little independent little boy. He come when he wants to.
How you do? That's it. so that's good. But we hope everybody's having a good day. And ways of announcements on July the 31st, we'll have an all-day Bible school. That'll be on Saturday. It starts at 9:30 a.m. and that'll be at the Forest City Church of the Nazarene. And so far, that's all the announcements I've got. I'll have some more next week and week after that, but that's all I've got so far.
All righty. Well,
and we got rain last night. I was
you?
so glad. Yeah, I had went to bed and I was just about asleep, and I thought, well, is that the wind blowing or what? And so I sat up and listened, and it was the rain. And so one of my dogs wanted out, and I got up and let it out, and it was raining. So I was glad that we got it.
Heavy rain, heavy rain.
Yeah, we was in dire need of it.
It's odd, though, how a county this size, it'll rain on part of the county and the other part doesn't get any.
I know it, but my tomatoes is getting ripe. I've got a bunch here on the table that's just as ready as can be. I'm going to give them to my sister. She wanted to can some, and hers hadn't done too good. She's got plenty, but they're real little. And mine's big, and usually it's opposite. Mine's little, and hers is big. But, and her garden's right on the creek bank, so I know it gets water.
Yeah.
But we just don't know when we plant this stuff what it's going to do.
Looks like my tomatoes are going to be relatively small this year, too. I've got a bunch, but they haven't gotten ripe yet, but they look like they're kind of small.
Well, I got some here that would not fit in a coffee cup, so that's pretty good size.
That's kind of make a good sandwich.
Yeah.
Wanted to fill a whole slice.
Yeah, that's that. But I'm going to give them to her so she can some, and then she'll give me green beans because the rabbits eat my green beans. I ought to get out there and shoot them rabbits and eat them all.
Rabbit
But
stew.
I guess you better go down to Ellenburg and check on Luther Sweet Thing.
All right, Brenda, you have a great day.
Okay. Catch you later.
Bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Here's a man that walks the streets of Ellenboro with news in his pocket, Luther Gilligan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's a nice day today. It's rather cloudy, but hey, it's going to be a good day.
Sun's coming out up here now, so we may have a sunny day here.
We're going to have a good time there today. But it's quiet this morning, nothing going. Everybody just getting their gas, heading on out to work. See, the fire department only had one call yesterday. Other than that, they're quiet this morning. But we have before the missing dog, we got Zazaron brown dog missing down Race Patch Road somewhere. He's a hunting dog, so you may find him anywhere. So if you run across him, give me a call, 980-3898, and I'll put you in touch with the right people.
What's the description of the dog?
He's a brown Zazaron dog.
Okay.
No, they didn't tell me how high it was. He's a full-grown dog.
If you see a strange dog roaming the road, that's probably him.
Yep, that'll probably be him. And nothing else going on, so you have a great day up there, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Luther. Be safe over there, and I'll see you next time.
All right, take care.
All right, bye. Time for birthdays now and anniversaries for this 13th day of July, July 13th. If you're celebrating, give us a call. We'll celebrate with you. 287-3356. Birthdays, anniversaries can be called in right now. We've cleared the phone lines for you. Birthdays and anniversaries at 287-3356.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Well, when you don't want to cook yourself, let somebody else do it for you. Let Granny B's do that, and maybe you try one of the deluxe pizzas over there. Folks are really raving about it. They're good. You got several choices. Call them up and order your pizza. Go by there, look at the menu, and make your choice. If you got a party coming up, want to supply pizza for them, that's the place to get them. You'll decide that's the place for pizza. That's Granny B's Pizza. They also do the donuts, though, and do the cakes, but they do have pizza now, and it's really, really the talk of the town.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to David McGinnis today. We wish David a happy birthday, and anyone else celebrating, we hope it's a good one for you. Stand by. We have Keys to Confident Living coming up. 8 o'clock, 8:05 this morning, Andrew Tisdale will be in the Blue Room, and then we'll talk about things of interest during the next segment of the Morning Wake Up Call right here on WCAB.
Karin Oleg, a German missionary, was sailing on a ship from America to Japan. She struck up a conversation with the captain of the ship, who shared her religious interests and convictions. She inquired as to how he had come to have so much faith and trust. He related how years before he had invited his wife and his 8-year-old daughter to go on one of the voyages. Just as now, it was a very stormy trip. In fact, things got so bad on that crossing that he had given orders for all hands to be on deck and had already lowered the lifeboats. The last thing he did was to waken his little daughter. Everyone was already on deck, but she was still in the cabin and asleep. Her mother woke her and said, "Get up quickly. There is a storm and the boat is in danger of sinking." The little one looked at her mother and said, "Mommy, is Daddy at the helm?" She was told he was. She replied, "Then everything will be all right." And with that, she turned over and fell asleep again. As the father considered his daughter's response, he wondered why he couldn't trust his Heavenly Father like that. Why did he have to fret and stew and worry about the eventual outcome of the storms of life? If God was at the helm, then everything would be all right. Today, why not picture laying all of your burdens, your fears, and your worries at the feet of your Heavenly Father and then trust Him? This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for these programs are available in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
My Great America with Jim and Butch coming up this morning, 9:05. Be sure to hang around for that.
The music's on us. WCAB. The music's on us on WCAB.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packard. Dozens of wildfires are burning across the western states, the flames fueled by the summer's third intense heat wave and excessively dry conditions. ABC's Will Carr in Doyle, California, which has been through its second major fire in 8 months.
Residents here describe a horrific scene. They say the flames raced towards this community like a freight train. Some people only had a matter of seconds to get out before those flames destroyed many of the homes on this block. Last year was a historic fire season here in California, and this year we've already had more fires and far more land burned, and it comes on the heels of another record-setting heat wave.
The 0% contained bootleg fire in southern Oregon, threatening power transmission lines coming into California. Democratic lawmakers, hopelessly outnumbered in the Texas legislature, have fled the state rather than vote on a controversial package of election-related bills, a vote they would surely lose. ABC's Jim Ryan says it's not the first time the tactic's been tried.
In 2003, Democratic lawmakers slipped over the state line into Oklahoma to deprive the Republicans a quorum when a redistricting bill came up. This time, they've gone to Washington, where they found the support of Vice President Kamala Harris, who agrees that the GOP-backed legislation would discourage minority voting.
Fighting for the right to vote is as American as apple pie.
By the way, the 2003 standoff ended when then-Governor Rick Perry called a third special session. Democrats conceded defeat, and the redistricting plan was passed. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
A new warning added to the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine about links to a rare neurological reaction, but officials say the benefits far outweigh the risks of the vaccination. In France, President Emmanuel Macron ordering all French healthcare workers to get their COVID-19 vaccine shots by September 15th. Anyone who wants to go to a restaurant, shopping mall, train, or plane have to get a COVID pass. Nearly 1 million people signed up to get vaccinated after the announcement. You're listening to ABC News.
I'm Dinesh D'Souza. In April alone, consumer prices increased by 4.2%, the highest bump since 2008. Higher fuel prices, higher food prices, construction costs, housing prices. Inflation isn't just coming, it's here. Have you protected your savings, your investments? If you have not yet diversified a portion into precious metals, the answer is no. Birch Gold Group is who I purchase from and who you can trust to convert an IRA or eligible 401k into an IRA backed by gold and silver. That's right. Through a little-known tax loophole, you can convert your retirement savings tied to the stock market into an IRA backed by precious metals. It's your hedge against inflation. With 10,000 customers, an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, and countless 5-star reviews, Birch Gold can help you too. Get a free information kit by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. Again, text PROTECT to 989898 before it's too late.
When it comes to COVID vaccines, the European Union says not all are made the same. ABC's Inez de la Catera explains.
So the AstraZeneca vaccine produced in Europe has been authorized by the continent's drug regulatory agency. The same shot manufactured in India hasn't yet been given the green light. EU regulators say AstraZeneca hasn't completed the necessary paperwork on the Indian factory, which includes details on its production practices and quality control standards. Inez de la Catera, ABC News. At the foreign desk.
At least 64 people have been killed in a fire that raced through the COVID ward of an Iraqi hospital. More than 100 are hurt. No word on the cause of the fire, but officials say it may have started with an electrical short or an explosion of an oxygen cylinder. Relatively quiet in Cuba overnight after some of the largest protests on the island in decades. There are reports dozens of protesters have been arrested, and Cuba's president calling them counter-revolutionaries. And another billionaire good to go for a flight to space.
Just over a week before Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin is scheduled to launch to the edge of the Earth's atmosphere, the FAA has approved the company to carry humans from a launch site in Texas. The FAA says Blue Origin has met regulatory requirements. Bezos and his fellow passengers are expected to go about 6 miles higher than Richard Branson did over the weekend before falling back to Earth. Alex Stone, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
The U.S. dollar is plummeting. Protect your savings against inflation with precious metals. I'm Dinesh D'Souza for Birch Gold Group. Birch Gold Group is who I trust to help you protect your IRA or 401k with gold and silver. With thousands of satisfied customers, an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, get a free information kit by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. Again, text PROTECT to 989898 today.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
It's going to be another hot and sticky day. We have deep tropical moisture in place, so you're going to feel the air as you step outdoors. We do have highs in the lower 90s this afternoon with feels-like temperatures in the mid to upper 90s. A few isolated showers and thunderstorms will be possible. It won't be widespread by any means, but if you do get caught under a thunderstorm, that could bring some heavy rain into your region. It's going to be hot again for tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Parts of our county last night got a good shower of rain overnight, around 11:30 last night. Some sections did not get it, but may get theirs later today because there is a 50-50 chance of more rain this afternoon and tonight. And we have rain in the forecast every day up until Saturday. Looks like Saturday is going to be rain-free, partly cloudy, rain-free, and wind gusting to about 11 miles per hour on Saturday. Partly cloudy Sunday with a chance of thunderstorms developing. Most of these thunderstorms will be in the afternoon or overnight. Rarely do they occur in the morning. Now watch me say that and watch it come on Sunday morning, but I think it's mostly in the afternoon when that happens. But we going to have some pretty good weather overall. It's not as hot as it could be being here in the mid of July. But we're glad you stay tuned with us. Andrew Tisdale scheduled to be with us this morning. Perhaps he is still on vacation. I don't know where he is, but we'll move on. If he shows up, we will have him on the radio. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock right now, and we got some news from here and there.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City will once again sponsor the Meet Me at the Fountain 5K race on July the 24th. And this year's race will be a live event, pending no changes in the current downward trend of the new COVID cases. Go to www.facebook.com/meetmeatthefountain5K for more information and to get sponsorship forms. Beneficiaries this year are the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Yoke Fellow, and the Chase Corner Ministries. And now the soda fountain is now fully open, and Smith's Drugs is no longer offering curbside for the fountain. However, the back door is still locked as Smith's Drugs continues curbside service for the pharmacy only. The COVID-19 vaccination is available Monday through Friday only, and walk-ins are welcome. Again, the soda fountain now open at Smith's Drugs. And don't forget the upcoming 5K race. So get your sponsorship forms at Smith's Drugs in Forest City.
We're going to hold the door open for him, ladies and gentlemen. Just arriving in the Blue Room this morning. Here's Andrew Tisdale. Pull a chair right up there and make yourself comfortable.
It is always comfortable in here.
Good deep breath. There you go.
How y'all doing?
Doing great. Hope you're doing well.
It's doing great.
Good.
Doing great. A little trafficy today.
Yeah.
That's all right.
We got that Tri-City traffic going on, I guess.
Good drivers. Taking their time.
Yeah. Did you have a good trip?
I did. Costa Rica, if anybody ever hasn't been, is a place to visit.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a pineapple just right off, just the pineapple? I call it a bush because it's not very high. It's right there on the ground.
I've never had one that fresh.
If you eat one that fresh, I hate to say you might not eat another one.
It'll never be the same.
It'll never be the same.
I love pineapple, but I've never had one quite that fresh.
But it's a totally different experience.
Yeah.
It's just 400 times the flavor.
Really?
Yep, and juice. And
wow. So you could just pull them off the vine and go?
Well, we didn't. We had someone just kind of cut it up, and have it ready for a snack and it wasn't even chilled, but it felt like it.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I'd love to try that sometime. Maybe next time you go to Costa Rica, you'll invite me to go with you.
I didn't invite you this time.
I don't believe you did.
That's right.
I believe that was an oversight.
That is. I apologize. Yeah, or maybe it's just the cost of airline tickets.
Andrew Tisdale, financial advisor with Andrew Jones, is here in the Blue Room. What you got on your mind?
How does Social Security fit into retirement? So here is something to think about. You could spend 2 or even 3 decades in retirement. To meet your income needs for all those years, you generally need a pretty sizable amount of some sort of retirement plan. How will Social Security fit into that? You see, for most people, Social Security won't be enough to cover the cost of living in retirement. nonetheless, Social Security is still valuable, and you want to do whatever you can to maximize it fitting for your need. So what is my moves? How do I determine when to do it? Well, should I start when I'm 62? Should I start when I'm 66 and 10 months? Should I start when I'm 70? Can I keep working? There's a lot of factors that goes into deciding what is my best option for Social Security. So when you start to claim Social Security, look at your options and look at what is going to be the most bang for your buck. If I start at 62 and I'm going to get $1,000 a month, or if I'm going to wait till I'm 70 and I'm going to get $1,700 a month, that sounds great. But how much money am I leaving on the table to be able to wait? But then again, if I want to continue working and I'm 62, how much can I make a year before I'm penalized? So those are a lot of factors before you start thinking about Social Security to really think about. Also, you need to put your spouse in the factor of that. If you start drawing Social Security and your spouse is drawing Social Security before you, you could be limiting yourself to what you can earn, or your spouse may be limiting yourself to what you can earn. My advice is to sit down with someone you trust, talk to them, and just unbiased, because it's not going to be their money, but it will give you a good solid plan on how to maximize what you've earned over these long years of working.
Good advice, sir, as you always have good advice when you come in here on Tuesdays. Always a pleasure.
Even when my mind's on pineapple.
And when you going back?
I don't know. That's a good question. Sarah and I, we just kind of were talking on the trip and said, we like visiting places we've never been.
Yeah.
God's made a beautiful world.
Beautiful world. Yeah.
Beautiful world. I think He wants us to see some of it.
I wouldn't be surprised at all about that, because we take what we have for granted so many times, and sometimes we can see other parts of the country that's not as well off as we are, and other parts of the country that's better off than we are.
That's right.
But it pays to see what's going on around us.
It does, especially when you can get a really good cup of coffee, sit on a porch, and watch monkeys jumping from trees. Wild monkeys.
And fresh pineapple pulled right off the vine.
And fresh pineapple. That's right.
Good.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
Edward Tisdale, you can reach him at 173 Railroad Avenue, Rutherford. Phone number is 287-9197. And the website is www.edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. 12 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we got some news from here and there. Let's look at some stories. Daily Courier reported this morning. Plans are underway to convert a part of the Town and Country Inn Suites into a learning center for the area's youth. Already being used as traditional housing that includes as many as 48 children, the Town and Country Inn Suites in Spindale is offering a section of the property for a learning and multiple purpose center for youth. Formerly used as a breakfast dining area for hotel guests, Ben Storage organizers are spearheading an effort to clean out the space and make way for the new center. R.J. Aiken, director of Reaching Rutherford's youth program, is one of the stakeholders spearheading the project. We are trying to rebrand that area for our youth, Aiken said. We're able to create a center out of the space. The Town and Country site represents Reaching Rutherford's youth's fifth location for assisting the county's youth in terms of learning and securing employment. He also added that the group also partners with NC Works Next Gen programs, which helps young adults find jobs. Workforce Innovation Opportunity Youth Service Program seeks to assist eligible youth in achieving academic and employment success through effective and comprehensive activities. One of the stories being reported in the Daily Courier. COVID housing assistance still is available. According to Scott Carpenter's article in the paper, the Housing Opportunities and Prevention of Eviction, called HOPE program, still has funds available, and leaders of social service departments are concerned that many people are still not aware that they could qualify for assistance. HOPE is part of a statewide effort to address renter needs due to COVID-19. The goal is to provide housing stability to vulnerable renters. Officials say it is designed to be as streamlined as possible to allow for fast application and quick payment of funds to landlords and utility providers. Currently, HOPE is able to make payments within 14 days of application. On Friday, Department of Social Services leader from across North Carolina met virtually to discuss the program, including the need to get the word out to potential HOPE participants. John Carroll, director of the Rutherford County DSS, said, "I am concerned that there are many people who could benefit from this program, but they may not know about it. And if they do know about it, they think they would not qualify." Carroll points out that a person does not have to have lost their job or even have had their income reduced to qualify. Increased expenses, such as those related to daycare costs, like paying a babysitter because of school being closed, increased food costs because of kids being at home more, can be factors that impact the ability to pay rent. A lot of good things going on. Well, meanwhile, down our neighboring county, down in Cherokee County, Gaffney, the man that was accused of beating a woman to death in a Gaffney home will not be released on bond. The thought of what happened just across the street continues to bring tears to Sherry Worthy's eyes. She said, "I should have called police." She said she was on the porch last week when she saw something wasn't right at her neighbor's house. Bam, bam, the banging kept going until he broke the window out, and that's when he went inside. But she said she had no idea of the extent of what was happening. Detective Sergeant T.J. Haney has been with the Gaffney Police Department for years. He told Channel 7 News this is one of the more gruesome cases he has investigated. He used some garden tools to break the window, and once he entered the residence, he followed her to her mother's room where he assaulted her in front of her 92-year-old mother, Detective Sergeant Haney said. After that, Detective Sergeant Haney said the suspect, Jerome Rainey, took off. Police were able to track him down a couple of hours later on Cherokee Avenue. Patrol officers got a call at the 5 Points food store about a suspicious guy that ended up being him and was arrested. While Haney told us cases like these are never easy, he says the victim's mother is okay. She's also in his prayers. "I wish to provide justice for this family," Detective Sergeant Haney explained. As for a Gaffney neighbor, she said the woman killed will be remembered always. She should have done something when she said, "I should have done something" when she heard all that commotion going on that was not right. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson is backing a national group's fight against anti-American indoctrination, including critical race theory in public classrooms. You've heard me talk about that for some time now. The group 1776 Action released a video this week with Robinson explaining his support for the campaign. He said, "We're thrilled to have the support of at Mark Robinson NC in our fight to stop anti-American indoctrination in our K-12 classrooms. We hope you'll sign the 1776 Citizen Pledge and join us today," according to website and Facebook and Twitter that's out there, 1776action.org, at 1776action.org. Robinson tells the story of his family's response to early struggles. He emphasized his mother's success in raising a family after his alcoholic father died. He goes on to say the reason why is because she had an overwhelming faith in God, and she knew that she lived in the greatest nation on earth, that all opportunities were open to her and to her children, and she told us so. Robinson says in an address directly to the video's audience, because of that, because she passed through and passed those things down to us, I'm now living my dream. America is still the place of dreams for everybody, Robinson said. It's still the greatest nation on earth. We want to teach that to our children, he said. We want to make sure that our children understand the greatness of this nation. They understand the greatness of their founding documents and those who founded the nation as well. He goes on to say that's why ending indoctrination in schools is such a passion of mine. We have got to ensure that things like critical race theory are not creeping in and causing our children to hate the nation they live in. 1776 Action routes viewers to a web page tied to Robinson's name. It asks people to sign a citizen pledge. Underneath the photo of Robinson, the page says, I've got just a minute, I'll share some of the things. It says, as a citizen, I believe that the United States of America is an exceptional nation whose people have always strived to form a more perfect union based upon our founding principles. Our founding fathers, including George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, as well as leaders like Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, and Reverend Martin Luther King, were among the greatest Americans who ever lived, and they deserve to be honored as heroes. He goes on to say our children and grandchildren should be taught to take pride in their country, to respect our founding principles of liberty and equality, and have a sense of American history that is both truthful and inspiring. Civics education should focus on the serious study of our founding documents and principles, not coerce students into engaging in extracurricular political action on behalf of contemporary policy positions. At the state level, Robinson has instituted the Fairness and Accountability in that Classroom for Teachers and Students, or FACTS, task force. The group formed in March gives parents a forum for sharing concerns about indoctrination in public schools. Again, let me see if I can. 1776action.org is you can find this petition and get your name on 1776 Action. And just look that up or look up Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson and find what he's all up to and support that. It's 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. The Sheriff's Report is coming up in a minute.
Saving money is easy when you shop at Jay's Discount Grocery. From snack foods to vegetables, fresh fruits to fresh cut meats, paper products, cleaning supplies, dog food, and so much more. You just never know what you'll find at Jay's. So shop and save today. They're located at 671 Oak Street in Forest City, right beside the Hospice Resale Store. When you shop at Jay's, you always walk out with money left over in your pocket. There are plenty of drugstores in Rutherford County, but not all of them offer the same personal customer service that is offered at the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton. Laura Hodge and her team have trusted experience and professional service. You're not just a number to them, you're a friend. Make the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton your hometown drugstore at 200 Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1, 287-7117.
Sheriff Chris Francis was with us earlier this morning on the radio and gave us a report from his department. We recorded it for broadcast at this time. Sheriff?
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 155 calls of service, and 12 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 190. Those arrested: Dupree McDowell, 47-year-old male of Rutherford, was charged with 2 counts of failure to comply, failure to appear, and received a $4,000 cash bond. Myra Taylor Locker, 25-year-old female of Mooresboro, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear in possession of meth and drug paraphernalia and received a $5,750 secure bond. Nicholas Jordan Burdett, 25-year-old male of Rutherford, was charged with possession of firearm by felon and received a $15,000 secure bond. Whitney Taylor McSwain, 31-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with possession of Schedule II narcotics, received a $5,000 secure bond. Davis Lee Vickers, 30-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to comply and resist restricted delay, received a $525 secure bond. William Leon Boykins, 51-year-old male of Forest City, was charged on 3 true bills, received a $10,000 unsecured bond. Michael Andrew McDaniel, 34-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with uttering a counterfeit bill, received a $10,000 secure bond. William Hunter Husky, 27-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with failure to appear, received a $10,000 secure bond. Among our incidents, we had a juvenile offense on Academy Street in Mooresboro. A 13-year-old had pushed his mother and then also communicated threats. Department of Juvenile Justice was contacted and we'll be seeking a petition for that incident. We had a larceny there on Willowtop Lane in Lake Lure. It was of a chosen action, which is a written check. Don't believe it was actually taken from that gated community, but somewhere along the lines, a check for $120 was taken and forged and uttered by someone other than the intended person it was sent to. We had a break and enter and larceny of a storage unit on Oakland Road in Forest City. There was a 70-inch smart TV valued at $1,433, a stereo system valued at $300, a buddy heater valued at $50 as well as NASCAR collectibles and some collectible knives and tins valued at $300. We had the counterfeit money $100 bill passed on Old Ballpark Road. This is where Michael Andrew McDaniel, after investigation, was taken into custody. And we had a larceny of a catalytic converter on Old US 74 in Boston, and that was Concord Baptist Church. Last time the church van was used was July 4th, and the value to replace that is $716, including labor. Jim, that's what we had to report today.
Thanks very much, Sheriff Francis, for that report. Now stand by. We'll update you on sports news. 9:05 this morning, My Great America with Jim and Butch. We on the radio. Got some things to talk about here in just a few moments. So stand by.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. Mets first baseman Pete Alonso swung his way to his second straight home run derby title last night, besting Shohei Ohtani, Trey Mancini, and Juan Soto on a night of record long balls in the thin Rocky Mountain air of Coors Field. He hit 74 total homers to beat the Orioles' Mancini 23-22 in the final round. For the runner-up, he missed the entire 2020 season battling colon cancer. Mancini said participating in last night's home run derby caps a tremendous comeback for him.
It was incredible, especially after, obviously everybody knows the story by now, but the last year and a half was, something that you have nightmares about. And to be here a year later and make it to the finals was incredible.
MLB's All-Star Game is tonight. Shohei Ohtani will be the AL starting pitcher and leadoff hitter. And meanwhile, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith is in hot water after he went on a rant about the Japanese-born Ohtani needing an interpreter.
I don't think it helps that the number one face is a dude that needs an interpreter so you can understand what the hell he's saying in this country.
Smith later tweeted an apology saying he was, quote, sincerely sorry. The Tampa Bay Lightning celebrated their second consecutive Stanley Cup championship with a boat parade in downtown Tampa on Monday. And in a twist of irony, after the Lightning won the Cup, the official Stanley Cup Twitter account tagged Tom Brady in a tongue-in-cheek tweet that said it's too heavy to be thrown. Brady offered his own tongue-in-cheek reply, claiming the weight of the Stanley Cup is nothing a little alcohol can't fix. Well, the cup needs fixing. So far, no word on what exactly happened, but a photo posted on Twitter shows the bowl of the cup at the top is flattened on one side. The caption reads, "That'll buff out." ESPN reports the cup will be sent to Canada for repairs and then be returned to Tampa Bay. A follow-up tweet poked some fun at the Canadiens, which read, "Congrats, Montreal. You'll get the cup for a few days after all." This is NCN Sports.
NASCAR legend Richard Petty on why he got his shot.
Talked to my doctor, and he said he would highly recommend that I go ahead and get a shot. You're not only helping yourself, you're helping your neighbors also. I might have been a little bit hesitant to begin with, but after looking at all the statistics, and I don't see anything after you take the shot, everybody seems to get along with it pretty good. So you have a spot, take your shot.
Everyone from teens to seniors can get a COVID-19 vaccine. Find your appointment today. Visit myspot.nc.gov.
Medicaid is changing in North Carolina, but your local community health centers are still here to care for all patients, whether or not you have health coverage. If you want to make changes to your Medicaid coverage, act now by visiting ncmedicaidplans.gov. That's ncmedicaidplans.gov, where you can choose your local community health center as your primary care provider for affordable, high-quality health care. This message brought to you by the North Carolina Community Health Center Association.
It was the most important phone call of his life, but Colton Cowser missed it. The Sam Houston State outfielder was the first pick by the Baltimore Orioles in the 5th overall, but he didn't answer his phone when GM Mike Elias called because he didn't recognize the number. They had a good laugh after the fact, as Cowser explained.
I actually got a phone call, and it was from a I didn't have the number, so, I was told not to answer if I didn't have the number, and it ended up being him, so then I gave him a call right back, so... just a little miscommunication there.
Still taking his mom's advice about stranger danger. Zach Johnson is the latest player out of the British Open. The 2015 champ tested positive for COVID-19. The Detroit Lions, meanwhile, say Ford Field can be at full capacity this season. The team will not ask spectators for proof of vaccination, but they will encourage unvaccinated fans to wear face coverings. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
It's going to be another hot and sticky day. We have deep tropical moisture in place, so you're going to feel the air as you step outdoors. We do have highs in the lower 90s this afternoon with feels-like temperatures in the mid to upper 90s. A few isolated showers and thunderstorms will be possible. It won't be widespread by any means, but if you do get caught under a thunderstorm, that could bring some heavy rain into your region. It's going to be hot again for tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
We have moved out of the 60 range, 69, up to 70 now. We're now 70 degrees, and we'll be climbing up to about 88 before the day's over with, I think. And it's warm, humid conditions out in the radio land. Well, we appreciate you hanging around with us as we broadcast live from the Blue Room this morning. My name's Bishop, Jim Bishop. Governor Roy Cooper has a reputation, many different reputations, but what I'm referring to, he has vetoed more legislation than all other North Carolina governors combined. Yes, with the past 3 vetoes stamped over the past 3 weeks, Cooper's total comes to 57 vetoes, and the session's not even over yet. The next closest was Democrat Governor Bev Perdue with 20 vetoes during her tenure from 2009 to 2013. Her predecessor, Mike Easley, vetoed 9 bills from 2001 to 2009. Republican Governor Pat McCrory vetoed 6 bills from 2013 to 2017. Democrat Jim Hunt didn't use the veto stamp after voters granted him the power during his second term. Governor hasn't always had the veto power in North Carolina, but while Governor Hunt was in serving his second term, legislation did approve a veto, but he did not use it after he was given the stamp. With his veto count headed towards 60, now the likelihood Cooper will veto any legislation that doesn't fall within his political spectrum has changed the lawmaking and political strategy for elected officials on both sides of the aisle. Chris Cooper, professor of political science at Western Carolina University and no relation to the governor, said, quote, "Thanks to the veto power and the lack of a supermajority, no policy has any chance of passing unless it has strong bipartisan support," end quote. In practice, that means that Republicans must propose and pass policies that are palatable to the governor, otherwise they stand no chance of becoming law. Democrats can rest assured that no matter what happens on the floor of the General Assembly, most Republican bills will not become law. 1996, North Carolina became the last state to grant the governor veto power. It was approved by voters as an amendment on the November 1995 ballot. Traditionally, the governor of North Carolina wasn't given much power in the interest of a more powerful legislature whose elected members represent people from across the state. Until 1835, the legislature even elected the governor, not the voters. Now, with veto stamp always inked up and ready to go, Cooper has exercised political muscle that has drawn even more national attention to North Carolina. He's vetoed some things that you and I think should pass, like the voter ID, saving babies from being aborted, those kind of things. He's vetoed all that. Cooper's frequent use of the veto has made policy changes just this side of impossible, said Chris Cooper. That has not stopped floor debate on these issues, however. Certainly Republicans and Democrats alike know that if they propose and debate policy issues that rile up their respective bases, they will signal to their core constituents that they are fighting for the policy's stances. This legislative session has seen a decline in partisan laws, but not a decline in partisan rhetoric. Legislation that would rein in some of the governor's powers, at least the emergency powers, is included in the Senate budget proposals. The core language comes from the Emergency Powers Accountability Act, which passed the House in April. And under the proposed changes, the governor has 10 days from issuing an emergency executive order to get the concurrence of the majority of the Council of State, without which it would be automatically expire. Now, if the Council of State does approve an emergency, the Council of State, now keep that in mind, the Council of State does approve an emergency declaration, it may continue for a maximum of 45 days. Any emergency declaration extending beyond 45 days would require approval from majorities in the General Assembly. North Carolina is one of 15 states that do not place a time limit on gubernatorial emergency orders. Governor Cooper sought the consent of the Council of State in the initial emergency order, but did not for the extension that drew out the shutdowns for more than a year back during the COVID thing. Regardless of legislative support for House Bill 264, the bill to rein in emergency powers, it would still require gubernatorial approval to escape a veto. North Carolina governor has few institutional powers. Whether you love or hate his policies, anyone following North Carolina politics has to admit that Governor Cooper is running a master class in using what little power he has in pursuit of his policy goals. If it doesn't fit any bill that the legislature passes, if it doesn't muster up to the liberal persuasion of which the cover belongs to, he will veto it, and he has done in the past. But he has, I think, has just a couple more years out there. Well, we said on many occasions that it's these battles that we're fighting, the thing I pound on my desk back here so often about the left leaning toward the bad things about your children. It's not just talk, folks. Anyone claiming the left has no subversive agenda need look no further than a song and a video by the San Francisco Men's Gay Chorus for proof of one. The group isn't shy about its intentions either. The recently released video is for the song We're Coming for Your Children. This is the gay chorus, Men's Gay Chorus. And they have a song, We're Coming for Your Children. If you're tempted to give the choir the benefit of the doubt and assume that the song is meant as a tongue-in-cheek jab at the right, just listen to the lyrics. While the lyrics are indeed cheeky, they signal a deliberate attempt to subvert kids' perspectives from an early age. For instance, you say we're all lead lives you don't respect, but you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kid if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once you're correct. We'll convert your children, happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you'll barely notice it. Just like you're worried they'll change their group of friends. You won't approve of where they go at night, and you'll be disgusted when they start learning things online that you kept far from their sight. We'll convert your children. Yes, we will, reaching one and all. There's really no escaping it, because even Grandma likes RuPaul. The world's getting kinder. Gen Z's gayer than grander. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. The gay agenda is coming home. The gay agenda is here. So, folks, they're serious about this thing. And the more you say, oh, well, let's let it go. They'll grow out of it. No, if they're indoctrinated as early children and with the material they're having to read or things they're looking at online and on computers and on video games and even now in textbooks and story time, they're aiming specifically at our children. They're aiming specifically at our children. And if we don't rein that back in, folks, with your grandchildren and your children, you'll see that after a point in time, you've lost them. It's time to take hold of those children's ideas and make sure you know exactly who their friends are and what exactly it is they're reading or watching. If we don't pull that back in, we'll live to regret it at some point. Sure, it's tough to be strict on our kids. It's tough to be strict on our kids. But it's better to be strict on them now than let them break our hearts later. Well, moving right along. I don't know how many of you ever watched or saw any of the CPAC thing down in Texas this past weekend. I didn't get to see any of that, but I picked up a lot of information on it. Trump easily won the CPAC 2024 GOP presidential nomination straw poll. He easily won the nomination poll at the Conservative Political Action Conference, which is called CPAC, gathered last weekend in Texas. Trump, who repeatedly flirted with making another presidential run in 2024 to try and return to the White House, captured 70% of ballots cast in the anonymous straw poll, according to results announced by CPAC. That's a boost from the 55% support he won in the hypothetical 2024 Republican primary matchup straw poll at CPAC Orlando last February. Trump said as he gave the Dallas keynote address in minutes later, he said, I want to personally thank each and every one of you for your incredible support. As you know, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis came in a distant second at 21%. No one else among the 19 potential 2024 Republican White House contenders topped 1%. Donald Trump was way out front, and Ron DeSantis had 21% there. So there was a lot of speculation as to whether or not Ron DeSantis might be the candidate if Donald Trump decides not to run, or perhaps matching Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis up as presidential and vice presidential candidates. It seems unlikely that they would choose two candidates from the same state, but anything's possible with Donald Trump. They usually try to geographically separate the president and the vice president's candidates so they can sort of build on the momentum of where they are. Ron DeSantis, of course, in Florida, and Donald Trump lives there now. So we'll see what happens. Rand Paul got only 1%. Nikki Haley, who a lot of people support, got 1%. Ted Cruz, 1%. Tucker Carlson, 1%. Kristi Noem, who I like a whole lot, up in the Dakotas, the governor up there, 1%. Mike Pompeo got 1%. Mike Pence didn't get any percentage, according to the poll. Ben Carson, nothing. Marco Rubio, nothing. Tom Cotton, nothing. Mitt Romney, nothing. So it's still early yet, but DeSantis, a first-term governor and Trump ally who soared in popularity among conservatives nationwide for his resistance to lockdowns and COVID restrictions amid the coronavirus pandemic, easily topped a second 2024 ballot question without Trump on the hypothetical ballot. Without Trump, DeSantis zooms to the top. DeSantis grabbed 68% support on that question, with former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo at 5%. Donald Trump Jr. and Senator Ted Cruz of Texas were both 4%, with South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem at 3%. No one else topped 2%. Of course, Trump's strong performance comes at no surprise. CPAC, long the largest and most influential gathering of conservatives, has become a Trump fest since his 2016 presidential election victory. He was in the choir room there with those folks. Obviously, they are big Trump fans. Many of them were there because of him, because he was keynote speaker, and so obviously he's going to win a lot of votes there. But across the Fruity Plain, it depends on a straw poll, if it were held across the Fruity Plain, whether or not Trump would win that kind of support. He's still big and strong in a lot of areas, but remains to be seen whether or not he has enough strength to win another election. He hasn't said if he's going to do it yet or not. We'll see. Stand tuned. Well, grocery stores are beginning to hoard food and other critical items in preparation for rising prices and demand across the country. Have you noticed prices have gone up? Have you noticed the prices of the gasoline pumps? Well, supermarkets are hoarding things like baking ingredients and frozen meat, as executives are anticipating some of the highest price increases observed in recent years, according to the Wall Street Journal. David Smith, Chief Executive Officer of Associated Wholesale Grocers Inc., said, "We're buying a lot of everything. Our inventories are up significantly over the same period last year. Associated Wholesale Grocers, a wholesaler for over 3,000 grocery stores, recently purchased 15 to 20% more inventory. Some grocery stores are buying and storing supplies to keep their shelves full in response to an increase in demand." Paul McLean, he's the Chief Merchandising Officer of Stu Leonard's, told Insider the supermarket chain is purchasing 50% more inventory than usual. "We're buying more ingredients for home cooks, including flour and flour spices," he said. "We're also buying ahead on cleaning products for the fall and back to school. They're also buying more paper products and imported goods along with frozen food." As prices rise, grocery stores often purchase a stockpile of inventory in order to protect their profit. Although the supermarket industry has bounced back from the shortage caused by COVID-19 pandemic, many are still running low on items and receiving about 80% of their orders from suppliers. So the inflation pressure we're seeing is significant. So it's a lot of changes that you've noticed. I guess the difference in coffee prices are going up. A lot of things are going up right now. We'll see how all that lasts. The thing that people watch right now, particularly during vacation time, is the price of gasoline, how it goes up. And we can't blame the local guy. It's not his fault. He has to pay when they bring it to him, put it in the ground for him. He's got to pay for it. So it's not his fault. Don't blame him that the price has gone high. It's somewhere up the line there. Of course, we've canceled that pipeline that was rendering a lot of fuel to American. The president, in his quote, wisdom, end quote, thought it best not to have a pipeline running in America. Give it to Russia. I don't know if you remember, it's 8:45, by the way. Some of you may remember 25 years ago, a courageous, concerned pastor from Kansas stood up and shared a powerful prayer before the opening session of the Kansas House of Representatives. Pastor Joe Wright obviously loved freedom, understood its importance and the necessity of repentance God calls for in order for him to heal our nation. 25 years later, the words of Pastor Wright resound even louder. He got a lot of negative comments because he prayed such a prayer in the house, but when you recall it back up, it's still on the line out there. You can pull it back up. We're all witnessing today the horrific, damaging effect of deception, disease, dissension, defeat, debt, despair, destruction, and death. There's only one power that can restore freedom, peace, security, and the blessings only freedom offers. That is the Almighty God, our Creator, Heavenly Father. It's amazing if you can ever pull that up. Let's see if I can give you part of what his prayer that day that caused him so much grief from the left. He said, Heavenly Father, we come before you today to ask your forgiveness and to seek your direction and guidance. We know your word says, woe to those who call evil good, but that is exactly what we have done. We have lost our spiritual equilibrium and inverted our values. We confess that we have ridiculed the absolute truth of your word and called it moral pluralism. We have worshipped the other gods and called it multiculturalism. We have endorsed perversion and called it an alternative lifestyle. We have exploited the poor and called it the lottery. We have neglected the needy and called it self-preservation. We have rewarded laziness and called it welfare. We have killed our unborn and called it choice. We have shot abortionists and called it justifiable. We have neglected to discipline our children and called it building esteem. We have abused power and called it political savvy. We have coveted our neighbor's possessions and called it ambition. We have polluted the air with profanity and pornography and called it freedom of expression. We have ridiculed the time-honored values of our forefathers and called it enlightenment. Search us, O God, and know our hearts today. Cleanse us from every sin and set us free. The response was immediate. A number of legislators walked out doing the prayer in protest. They didn't like that kind of prayer. In 6 short weeks, Central Christian Church in Wichita, where Wright served as pastor, logged more than 5,000 phone calls, with only 47 of those calls responding negatively. The church received international requests for copies of the prayer. The legendary Paul Harvey reported on it and recited the prayer. You can find Paul Harvey online as well. That man was bold enough to go before the legislature in Kansas and pray a prayer like that, and got ridiculed because of it, but most folks stood with him, said that was good. We logged more than 5,000 phone calls, with only 47 of them negative. You have that kind of boldness? I hope so. I'll be back in just a moment.
Imagine an object of striking beauty with a breathtaking design that grabs your attention and holds you in suspense. It draws you in with an innovative boost of dreams and $100,000 cash power. New Corvette in cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with a top prize of a 2021 Corvette Stingray and $100,000 cash. The ride of your dreams is waiting. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.25. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
There are so many insurance agencies here and there, but to find a dependable agency that you can trust, that would be Maxwell B. Hamrick Insurance Agency. They are your full-service agency offering auto, business, homeowners, health, and life. Maxwell B. Hamrick is an independent insurance agent. Call them today at 286-2384. They care about their customers, and it shows. They're located at 119 Huntley Street in Spindale. Maxwell B. Hamrick Insurance Agency, serving one satisfied customer at a time.
It's 8:48, beautiful day in the neighborhood. We're going to be some warm temperatures, maybe some rain, possibly this afternoon or tonight. Hey, here's something that's of concern. I think it is anyway. When the federal government, FBI particularly, FBI is urging Americans to snitch on their own family members. Ted Cruz, in both Cuba and China, they also asked children to spy on their parents. Amid an administration focused on white supremacy and right-wing extremism, the FBI is urging Americans to report their family members and friends for suspicious behavior. FBI is encouraging Americans to snitch on their own family members because they suspect suspicious behavior. Now, parents can get really in trouble from their children reporting things that they're just angry with them, just upset with them. and they could report that they're doing things that not necessarily true. I'm not sure this is a great idea. Family members and peers are often best positioned to witness signs of mobilization to violence, read the FBI tweet. Help prevent homegrown violent extremism. Among the critics, of course, was Senator Ted Cruz, whose father led Fidel Castro's revolution. He saw that kind of thing happen down in Cuba. In both Cuba and China, they also asked children to spy on their parents. The link in the FBI's tweet goes to a government booklet published in 2015 focusing on Islamic terrorism that lists indicators that someone may be contemplating violence. The booklet notes that indicators may be constitutionally protected activities that, in combination with other suspicious behaviors, could raise suspicions and constitute a basis for reporting. What does that sound like, folks, when kids are going around reporting their parents? Now, if the parents are violent and there's opportunity of something happening deadly, then certainly the kids ought to get out of there. Just to report their parents because they don't like what their parents are saying or doing, that's sort of scary. And that the FBI would encourage that is kind of scary. I like the FBI to be kind of like it was on the old TV show, the FBI, with Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. I mean, they had a lot of respect for the FBI back in those days. Well, good old Governor Andrew Cuomo signed a law passed by the Democrat-controlled state legislature that allows guns to be considered a public nuisance and opens the floodgates for lawsuits against gun manufacturers. Yep, they allow people to sue gun manufacturers for violence. All right. Let's sue the car manufacturers for violence if people run over somebody or run into a building and tear the building. Let's sue the car manufacturers. Let's sue the Coca-Cola company because we drink too many Coca-Colas and get fat and ugly. The only industry in the United States of America immune from lawsuits are the gun manufacturers, but we will not stand for that any longer, Cuomo said. According to NBC News, the Federal Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act of 2005 carved out immunity for gun manufacturers if individuals misuse their products in a criminal manner. Cuomo's news release claims that New York is changing all of that. The gun industry is the only industry in America with immunity from civil lawsuits. He says that it's an insult to victims of gun violence. Today I'm signing legislation to reinstate public nuisance liability for gun manufacturers in New York City. Now, so they still don't have a handle on why these idiots are walking up down the streets of New York shooting people. They don't understand what these people are mean. They don't understand that that's the deal they need to put to action, not punish the gun manufacturers. The guns don't walk up the street and shoot anybody, folks. Have you realized that yet? The guns don't crawl out of the bedroom closet and go out on the street and shoot anybody, folks. Have you realized that yet? It's these folks with black hearts and evil minds that take the guns and walk out on the streets of New York City or Chicago or Detroit or wherever it is and shoot people. Why not do something with them? Why not put them away for a while? But that's not the way Governor Cuomo thinks. Under this new legislation, gun manufacturers cannot endanger the safety and health of the public through the sale, manufacturing, importing, or marketing of the products they sell. The products can be considered a public nuisance even if the gun manufacturer did not purposely cause harm to the public. Now, that doesn't make sense. Now, are you going to charge the Oreo people because you eat too many Oreos and get pimples on your face because you ate too much chocolate? I mean, come on, folks. We can have some common sense out there. Where's the common sense? Cuomo signed the law the same day he announced he would declare gun violence a public health emergency in New York. That's, I mean, come on. It's puzzling to me. Puzzling to me how folks that can be in a leadership position like that and make those kind of stupid remarks. I mean, come on, folks. As Joe Biden would say, come on, folks. I just don't get it. Yet, in the national media, think it's the greatest thing in the world. Somebody like Governor Cuomo would sue the gun manufacturers. We don't sue the car manufacturers. We don't sue the tobacco manufacturers. We don't sue the alcohol manufacturers. All those things can cause death. People drink alcohol, get drunk, and they kill somebody. We don't sue the alcohol industry. We give them benefits. We praise them. We don't. Well, it's ridiculous is what it is. I don't know. I just don't understand. I get really puzzled over that American people. I think American people do really see it, but it's the national left-leaning media that like to talk about that stuff and make it sound like Governor Cuomo is on the right side and we're the ones that's stupid and ignorant. That's the wrong concept, folks. We're not stupid. We're the smart ones. He is the one, and people who believe that kind of stuff are the ignorant ones. No common sense there whatsoever. And I don't know if they really think that way or if it's just that they're getting paid off by the liberal people who keep sending money to keep folks in office like Cuomo and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and people like that. I don't know. Anyway, well, enough for me on that today. I'm going to take a little break here, get ready for my Great America with Jim and Butch. Got to rest up a little bit before Butch gets back here in the Blue Room. Got to rest up a little bit, take a little break. But I'll be back tomorrow morning, bright and early, with another edition of the Morning Wake Up Call. Thanks for tuning in and staying tuned, and thanks for your comments. I appreciate it. Now, just for a few minutes, we're going to take you down memory lane with some classic oldies, and we'll be back.
Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packard. Texas Democratic lawmakers leaving the state. A quorum in the State House denied, along with the Republican majority's ability to vote and pass new voting restrictions. The Democrats went to Washington to lobby Congress to enact a national voting rights law. Meanwhile, President Biden is leaving D.C. to rally support for voting rights legislation.
President Biden travels today to Philadelphia, the birthplace of American democracy, to deliver remarks on voting rights. The White House says in his speech at the National Constitution Center, the president will say that denying the right to vote is authoritarian and anti-American, and he'll lay out a, quote, moral case for why this issue is a fundamental right. Administration officials have said this will be a fight of Mr. Biden's presidency, and he'll continue to make his argument with events around the country. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
In the nation's west, dozens of wildfires, the flames fueled by the summer's third intense heat wave. California fire crews are battling the Beckworth Complex fire north of Lake Tahoe that doubled in size over the weekend. ABC's Will Carr from the fire's path of destruction in Doyle, California.
Fire crews working around the clock to extinguish spot fires as they soared through the fallen foundations of buildings and charred cars. In Doyle, California, neighbors told to evacuate as the fire spread, burning down homes, some losing everything. And this, the second fire to terrorize the town within 8 months.
The FDA is revising its fact sheet for the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine, now saying that there might be a link to a rare neurological disorder called Guillain-Barré syndrome. Dr. Ashish Jha, Dean of the Brown University School of Public Health.
It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare in general and can be caused by can be triggered by other infections. It has been known to be triggered by medicines or even other vaccines. We see this. It's a pretty rare condition, but it happens.
Out of nearly 13 million administered doses, 100 preliminary reports of the syndrome reported. You're listening to ABC News.
If the pandemic's taught us anything, it's that the easiest way for germs to get into your body is the nose. We all know how to wash our hands, but how do you clean your nose? For over 2 million Americans, the answer is Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs that cause congestion, colds, and flu, so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. Better yet, Navage is all natural and drug-free. That's why one of America's top respiratory hospitals recommends nasal irrigation to stay healthy, explaining that bacteria and viruses thrive in warm and moist environments, and that you can wash away those germs so they don't make your nose their home. Experience Navage at zero risk. Go to Navage.com, buy Navage, and use it for a month. If you're not delighted, return it for a full refund. There's nothing to lose and a lifetime of better breathing to gain. Also available at Target, Walgreens, CVS, Bed Bath, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
Prices again on the rise. A new report from the Labor Department shows consumer prices rose 9% in just the last month and nearly 5.5% over the past year. It's the biggest 12-month jump in inflation since the summer of 2008. The pickup in inflation leading to worries that the Fed may boost interest rates sooner than expected. The pressure on fast food restaurants across the country to hire and keep workers in sharp focus at one spot in Nebraska. A large group of Burger King workers all walking off the job together.
Workers at a Burger King in Nebraska quit to protest poor working conditions. Burger King not responding to our request for comment. It's not just fast food. A record 4 million Americans across the economy quitting their jobs in April alone. Some companies are changing their policies to adapt to the times. Some McDonald's franchises, for example, are now offering childcare services, money for college tuition, and other benefits to try to attract and retain workers.
ABC's Christine Sloan. Leaders in Cuba beefing up police on the streets after the largest protest there in decades. Cubans demonstrating over high prices and food shortages. Dozens of the demonstrators arrested. The celebration for Tampa's second NHL championship in a row, a little too rough for the Stanley Cup. It somehow ended up dented after a parade. The cup shipped back to Canada for repairs. This is ABC News.
On our first date, we had masks on and kept 6 feet apart. Now, we're a lot closer.
Just like Cliff and Deb, thousands of singles over 50 found their perfect match on Silver Singles last year.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way.
Rediscover the magic of dating with Silver Singles, the exclusive community for singles over 50. Sign up today and receive daily matches you won't want to miss at silversingles.com/radio. silversingles.com/radio.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
It's going to be another hot and sticky day. We have deep tropical moisture in place, so you're going to feel the air as you step outdoors. We do have highs in the lower 90s this afternoon with feels-like temperatures in the mid to upper 90s. A few isolated showers and thunderstorms will be possible. It won't be widespread by any means, but if you do get caught under a thunderstorm, that could bring some heavy rain into your region. It's going to be hot again for tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And we're up to 72 degrees and cloudy overcast. Had a little sun, a little overcast this morning, but we may get some sun to get some overcast. We may even get some rain this afternoon. We don't know yet. We'll watch that weather. It's got a crazy weather pattern right now, but we will know it's summertime for sure. 71 degrees. It's 9:05. This is WCAB Rutherfordton.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning, Butch.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well.
Good. I'm glad to hear
Yes, I'm
that.
really great. You know what, this morning, most mornings, I've said this before, most mornings when I get up, I make it a point to put a stake in the ground and say that I've got a dear friend, Sandra Norris, by the way.
Yeah, Sandra, yes.
Where did she used to teach? Was it RS Central? Or
I think it's East High.
East High. You know what? Those are fighting words sometimes, aren't they? I mean, you got to make sure that you get your school straight. But you know, she reminds me every single day. Most days, I get a little text from her that's encouraging or exhorting. It's a choice. Mm-hmm. It's a choice. Mm-hmm. So much of what we deal with in life that we think is problematic or disastrous, it comes down to a choice. And so this morning, I chose again, Jim, to let the power of not Butch, but the living God work through me. And so there I was. I had new razors. I was happy about that. And, of course, you use a razor on this part, don't you? Yeah.
Selective.
You sort of groom yourself, and you've got artwork that you've got there. But I looked in the mirror, and I said, you know what? I'm going to choose today to bring light and life to everywhere I go. And I sing this song often. I'm going to sing it again right now. But I sing, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning, new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness, O Lord. Great is thy faithfulness. And something happens in your heart when you just refuse to let all of the dark forces of the news or what's happening in your body or your life or your families or your community infect you with cynicism and pessimism. Those are venereal things. You know what that means? It means it passes on to other people. Mm-hmm. So choose today to be light, choose to be salt, choose to be that incandescent hope that comes through the life and the pattern and the words of Jesus.
Yeah, that's absolutely. My friend Dr. Bob, who's passed on that, used to say, it's a beautiful day and I feel great.
Right.
Even when it's raining outside. It's a
right.
day and I
Or
feel
he's
great.
dealing with an arthritic hip or whatever it may be. You know what? It's a choice. It's a choice. And let's also remember, because we center ourselves with Scripture, what was said in Matthew chapter 8, where it makes it very, very clear that there are so many miracles that Jesus did. And in the course of those miracles, we also had some principles. And one of the principles was in chapter 7, verse 13, enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate, and broad and easy to travel is the path that leads to the way of destruction and eternal loss. And there are many who enter through it. But small is the gate, and narrow and difficult to travel is the path that leads the way to everlasting life. And there are few that find it. Jim, we want to be part of the few. It says in Scripture that God's not willing that any should perish, but that doesn't mean that everyone is on their way to heaven. So we've got to work out our salvation in prayer and with fear and trembling, as it says in Scripture, and recognize that The arms of Jesus are open wide, but it's not an ATM salvation. You don't put your card in, sign, get baptized, and live life like hell. I don't know how else to say it, and expect somehow to inherit eternal life. That's a whole different discussion, not for this program, but maybe for a church radio program at some point.
Right, and you were on the other day. I enjoyed your being on the program.
I was talking about Jonah, and God said go, and Jonah said no. And how many times in our life does God say do something, and we just don't do it? So that's why we need each other. We got to spur each other on to good works, not just to do good works, but because we are the hands and feet of Jesus. The Spirit of the living God, if we're truly born again, inhabits us, and we become the hands and feet of Jesus, touching a world that is so desperately in need. And you know what? Speaking of a world, right here in Rutherford County, I was so happy to pick up the Daily Courier this morning. And you know what, folks? I know there are people out there because they tell me the only thing the Daily Courier is good for is to wrap fish in. You know? I know Richie Starnes. He's a good man, and you know what? It's hard to be in journalism, and he's doing some great work with positive stories. And one of the positive stories this morning that you made mention of is with a dear friend, and he calls me a mentor, and that's very humbling. R.J. Aiken's program, which is reaching Rutherford's youth. The hotel here at the Town and Country is planning to allow some of the space in that area that's been a difficult area for a lot of things, crime, prostitution, and the like. That hotel is planning to allow space for a youth learning center. And you know what? We just had RJ over at our church, my church, Word of Faith Fellowship, had a wonderful wedding. You've gone to those weddings before, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
What do you like about them?
Because they're all exciting, they're uplifting, there's a lot of music, and everybody is involved. It's not just a couple walking down the aisle. It's I do, and out the door. It
really is something, and as our pastor, as my pastor Jane Whaley often says, it's one of our outreaches to the community. RJ was there. We love him. He's like a younger brother to me, and it just gives me so much joy to see that the Daily Courier featured him. I'm going to say this real quickly, by the way, as well. Let me see if I can find the article here. Okay, so if you want more information or want to know how you can help, call RJ at 828-539-4649 or by email at rj@blueridgehope.org. That is a wonderful, positive story underneath a picture of summertime sunflowers. And RJ, we are praying for you. We want to encourage you in every way that we can.
There really are a lot of good things going on in our county that's not recognized many times, and when a story like that comes to the front of the page, it's worth talking about. That's why I wanted to use it myself, and I'd read a lot of stories from the Courier like that. But we don't need to turn our backs and ignore those good, positive things that are happening.
And here's another good, by the way, today is going to be sort of our family business day.
All right.
We're doing community family business, so it's going to be, I was told by my Swedish grandmother that the word is not smorgasbord, it's smorgasbord. And I remember as a little boy hearing her say smorgasbord, and I had no idea what that was. Down here, I'm learning we call it smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah. Well, in any event, we've got a smorgasbord of different events that we want to mention. Here's one for tonight.
Yeah, our Rutherford County Teenage Republicans, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
They're putting together a special event tonight. They're trying to reorganize, bring the young people into some conservative values, and they've invited, they're having a kickoff at the, what do you call that? The
Kiwanis Park.
Kiwanis Park in Forest City, where that nice park is. And they've invited U.S. Senatorial candidate Ted Budd to come and be the special speaker.
This is actually in Rutherfordton.
It is, right.
Yeah.
Right down the Green Street.
Yeah,
Green
right around, you got your churches right there on Main Street. Yeah,
beautiful,
right around the corner. Beautiful place.
Starts 6:30, Kiwanis Park Pavilion. You bring a chair, bring a friend, and they're welcoming Teenage Republicans to the first YCYR event. And you don't have to be a young Republican to come. Adults can come as well to hear candidate Ted Budd speak. And I like to see folks get behind this youth organization because they need encouragement, and they're doing something positive for the community and with conservative values. And food and drinks will be available for them to come. Donations are accepted. It doesn't cost anything, but if you want to help defray the expense, you can do that. So looking forward to seeing you and as many of your young people, encourage your young people, your grandkids and your children.
Bring a lawn chair.
Bring a lawn chair.
Bring a lawn chair. Expect to be encouraged, motivated, and exhorted to action. You know, I was sitting last night with Bryson Smith at his home, and he is just a wonderful young man. And he asked for my help in editing something he's been working on, and I have a heart for, which would be a proclamation of Rutherford County as a sanctuary city, not for illegal immigration, but for the unborn.
Yes.
And so I was sitting with him last night working on that and looking at this 20-something, this millennial, and all of the people that say millennials are not engaged, they're not involved. I'm surrounded at my church with people that are involved. The county has a growing number of young people that are saying, not on our watch. America's not going down this direction on our watch. And so please come tonight. Please come and be encouraged. Come with your light, your life, your family, and come and hear somebody that President Trump said that he 100% endorses.
Ted Budd. I have not met him myself, but he's outstanding. Is he the minister? No. I
confess I don't know all of his background. I don't know all of his background, but I do know this. We want people to come out. Let me also say this, that, and I'm going to not call you from out of town and tell you this, I will not be here Thursday. I'll be up in Virginia. My brother from Greensboro, Mark, is meeting me up there, and we're going to get a box truck, and the whole saga of Joyce Maltby's move is going to have a new chapter to it. But on Thursday, I will call in early, but the balance of the program, you will not want to miss it, is Jason Williams, who is the executive director of the Faith and Freedom Coalition here in North Carolina. North Carolina is one of the model places for the Faith and Freedom Coalition that was started by Ralph Reed. Ralph Reed and I first met each other in 1988. And we were the two youngest vice presidents at CBN. Pat Robertson was our boss. We used to have lunches together, and all kinds of ideas used to be scribbled on the back of a napkin, one of which became the Christian Coalition. So a lot of history there, but you will not want to miss Jason Williams this Thursday on My Great America. I'll call in first from Virginia to kind of set the stage a little bit. Jim, you'll do your inimitable work in getting out of him a vision for 2022, the grassroots effort. And I told him, by the way, he was at the wedding as well over at our church. I told him, we want to be your media arm here in Rutherford County. That made him very, very happy. So he's looking forward to talking to you.
I have not met him, but Ralph Reed, I'm very much impressed with him. He's quite an impressive, I still call him young man. But
he's one of these. It's funny, when we were recently down in Florida at their annual event, I caught him backstage. I was up with the media group, which is, I told you, was so interesting. Here I am with my WCAB badge, and on one side you've got the CBS affiliate. You got One America was there. You got the Fox people, and there was WCAB. And you know what I did? I'll confess this. I had a dear friend, Tim Schlabach, and I had him make me a badge, with your permission, of course. And you know what I said? Make it big.
Yeah.
So it's a big WCAB badge. These other folks have got these little, but that WCAB media badge is going to more and more places, and it's a lot of joy to be able to do that.
Speaking of moving around, I believe you were on national, not really national, but Texas television. You get around.
Well, I want to, you know what, we want to do whatever God tells us to do, because I have a rich history that's filled with encyclopedias of disasters when I haven't heard from Jesus. But God's told me to, give some help to a dear friend who's launching a Quick Lots in 140,000 plus square feet, old Nordstrom space at the Northeast Mall in Hurst, Texas, which is the mid-cities between Dallas and Fort Worth. Huge mall, huge store. And so as it turns out, the Dallas Morning News, which is one of their leading newspapers, Fox 4, it appears, is going to come to the opening on July 31st. But WFAA, which is the ABC affiliate and has the leading morning program, interviewed me. So this morning on the morning program down in Dallas, where I used to live, there was Butch being interviewed. And it's, we're to God be the glory. We're grateful when positive things like that happen. But I know that a lot of the people that used to know me in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, if they catch wind of that, they're going to say, we wondered where that guy went, and here he parachuted back in again. So, yeah, that was this morning. We're grateful.
Yeah, well, that's great. I'm glad you have the opportunity to get that word out. Again, our friend Samuel is doing a great job of that.
Yeah, it'll open on the 31st of July, and we've got some discussions with some national media as well. You know what I do love more and more, Jim, though, are humble stories of what God's doing in the world. And our dear friend, Pat Job, came in this morning, and, you know, I had something I had to give him, and we hug each other and tell each other we love each other, because we do. He worked on a wonderful little book that I want to commend to you that's titled, It's About Jesus, It's Not About Max Bergen. Great little title. Stories from an Extraordinary Career as an Army Chaplain, Baptist Preacher, and Friend to So Many by Pat Job. So this book is just out. You can get it anywhere. And it's a small little book, but it's filled with such encouraging stories. Let me give you, and you know Max.
Oh, yes. I love Max.
Just nutshell for people, he's a community treasure, isn't he?
He really is. From here, of course, he has done so much for our national security as a chaplain in the military. He came back home, has a big farm. He pastors the church, I believe, still, and just helped open up the Farm Museum over in Forest City. And recently, several of us helped to get him the Long Leaf Order of the Pine from the governor of North Carolina, because of his contributions to our nation and to our world and our community. He's such a great, great guy.
Well, and I want to give you just a little taste, if it's okay. This won't be real long, but give you a little taste of what you'll find when you read this book. This is chapter 1. It's called The First Miracle. Again, the book it's about Jesus. It's not about Max Bergen. Stories from an extraordinary career as an Army chaplain, Baptist preacher, and friend to so many. Chapter 1, The First Miracle. My first miracle came when I was 2 years old, Bergen said. Although I had appendicitis, my parents were told I was too young to have it. I was sent home 5 times from Rutherford Hospital. The last time my parents were told there was nothing they could do. They basically sent me home to die. Dr. Bostic heard a baby specialist was vacationing in Saluda. My parents and my aunt got me up there as quickly as they could. The doctor said without opening me up, I would be dead within a matter of days. They took about a quart of pus out of me and had to tie my mother's veins into mine to cover my blood loss. They had no stored blood at that time. It was 1936. Bergen is clear that he believes God has provided at every step in his life, despite his human frailties. I just am who I am, but does God provide? His answer is yes. Bergen has received the Order of the Longleaf Pine, North Carolina's highest civilian honor, both a Bronze Star and the Legion of Merit from the U.S. Army twice, and a number of other recognitions from the service, a Heritage Award from the North Carolina Baptist Convention, and an Outstanding Alumnus Award from Mars Hill University, where he also serves as a trustee. He was recognized for his service by both Rutherford County and the town of Forest City on May 18, 2019. At this writing, he is dealing with chronic myeloid leukemia and recovering from an accident where a piece of metal went through his right thigh. He said during one treatment, I saw a ticker tape. Now people are going to think I'm crazy. I've never had anything to do with a ticker tape, but I saw it very clearly, and it said, you are my child. You're going to be okay. I've got another job for you. I wonder what that next job is. Folks, it's really sweet, precious, heartwarming, My Great America endorsed kind of reading, and I want to encourage you to get it. It's about Jesus. It's not about Max Bergen. Stories from an extraordinary career as an Army chaplain, Baptist preacher, and friend to so many. And then in the cover this morning, Pat wrote, Butch, think big, friend, love you so much, and pray people will find Jesus in these words.
How about that? And I see a picture of my friend Maddie Lackey on the back page.
Yes. And
founder of the Church of the Exceptional.
Right, and what he did is he has a great relationship with her, and I want you to talk about her in just a second. And so what he did is he added an addendum, so it's really a 2-for-1 kind of inspirational book. It's the first book, I'm going to say, that is sort of in the My Great America Reading Club. We want you to get it. There are going to be snippets that I read from, and just talk briefly about Maddie. She's another community treasure.
She really is. Lord laid on her many years ago to help those folks who are exceptional in physical as well as mental, and they had no place to go to church. So she was able to found this Church of the Exceptional, and I think it was a Methodist church there in Henrietta donated the building
that
they were no longer using it. and she has now members. I'm not sure the membership right now because it does increase and then it gets low. But she has been she's been a mainstay in that helping that community for a long time, and she's been given awards. She Chamber of Commerce awarded her Duke Energy awarded her an award about 2 or 3 years ago because of her contribution to that ministry. And she's a tireless worker, always got a smile, and she has done so much for that population of folks who are exceptional, but don't have any place to go but there, and they have a worship service. And it really deals on your heart when you go to a Christmas program and see them portraying Joseph and Mary and the shepherds and the wise men, and only they can do it. It just pulls at your heart, and what a blessing it is to have them in our community.
Well, I remember, Jim, in the late 1970s when I was a student at Wheaton College, and I went through a time, I've gone through several seasons in my life where I've doubted my faith, doubted myself, doubted the historicity and authenticity and inerrancy of God's Word. I've been on a long and winding road, and I'm so grateful. Every single day I'm so grateful that God in His providence and plan, in a way that is nothing short of miraculous, brought me to this little Rutherford County. And I really feel like I'm starting to fit in. When I'm talking to people about, hey, did you hear the new Dollar General has, self-checkout? When you're getting excited about things like that. But I remember that there was a season, my senior year of college, where I went to Scripture and I saw that it said of Jesus, He went about doing good. I saw the heart and compassion of Jesus. We need more than that. We need truth to be in our hearts. But I volunteered to be a Sunday school teacher for severely autistic children. And I did that for almost a year. And it was a time of about 2 to 3 hours on Sundays. I stopped going to church and I did that, which wasn't right, but it was a thing God wanted to show me. And what I saw is that in giving some respite to parents who were having to deal 24/7 with children like that, what I saw, though, were the miracles in simple little moments of recognition where I would share stories from the New Testament with these autistic children, and every so often you could see the aha in them. And it reminded me that we're spirits that live in bodies. Our bodies deteriorate. As you get older, Jim, they deteriorate. But the spirit man, the spirit person can be touched and ministered to when we go to that place with them. And I'll never forget some of the incredible things that were worked in me by doing what in the eyes of the world might be seen as, that's a really nice thing that you were helping out these autistic children. Every detail in our life God cares about. Every place in our life He cares about. The devil's not in the details. God is in the details. Every choice, every word. We're taught at my church, and it's helped me so much. Jim, I have spoken millions of words on every inhabited continent, 104 different countries, in all kinds of settings. And I got to a place in my life here recently where I said, God, I don't want to speak any words anymore unless I know You're prompting me to speak them. I don't want to be like that garden hose on a summer day where you turn it on and it goes like this, and something's getting wet and you're satisfied. I only want to speak anymore the words that I know are life-giving. It's only what God does through us that's going to matter for eternity. And I'm so grateful that we can be in lockstep with each other like the three-legged racers that we used to have at summer camp. I feel that way with you every time we're together.
Well, God is using you in a powerful way because of that dedication that you've had, and it's obvious that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, and you know what? I still remember over there at Small Town Coffee Roasters when it was in my heart, and I'll just confess this. I'll be open-hearted. You were bigger than life to me.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, because I'd heard from people, Jim Bishop, and I had people say, get to know Jim. Of course, you've been a friend of so many in our church and churches throughout the county, but I still remember the day God prompted me to say, Jim, can we do a radio program together? And I am so grateful that God, it says the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord like rivers of water. He turns it however He will, and I'm just so grateful that you had a yes in your heart. And we're going to close in on 100 programs here in the not-too-distant future, and we're looking forward to the days ahead. We're a simple little Rutherford County radio program, but we're proclaiming a message that reverberates to the universe, and doing that with you is a real blessing.
I'm looking forward to Thursday's special guest. It'll be on with us on Thursday.
Right. Jason Williams, Executive Director of Faith and Freedom Coalition in North Carolina. I'll call in from Virginia, and you'll do your great work in unpacking just exciting things that are ahead, and an encouragement for you to partner with that great organization.
God bless America.
God bless America, Jim.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.
Robbins Painting Carpet has become the friend to folks who do their own work around the house and friends of the professional. Robbins Painting Carpet is the headquarters for Benjamin Moore